I'll now call the Devils Lake City Commission to order. Please rise for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, approval of the minutes from December 4th, 2023.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of December 4th, 2023.
Commissioner Pierce,
Second.
Commissioner Robbins. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Nothing under awards and proclamations. Public hearing, we have a resolution to establish Devils Lake Job Development Authority. Spencer.
Mayor, members of the commission, I've been talking about this for the past month or so. And before you, as has been communicated, is the resolution to establish the Devils Lake Jobs Development Authority. In the resolution, what is proposed is that the city commission appoint themselves as the board of directors of the Jobs Development Authority. And the rest is basically a word for word pull from North Dakota Century Code. It has been reviewed by the city attorney and approved. And so we'd just look for you guys to approve the resolution. For an update, assuming or under the assumption that you guys would approve this resolution, we would propose that the first JDA meeting be on January 15th, which is the second meeting in January. At that meeting, the newly created Jobs Development Authority, you guys would gavel in at 5:30, conduct the business of the JDA, gavel out, and then gavel in as a city commission. At that JDA meeting, we would look for you guys to appoint officers. It will be recommended that the president of the city commission and the vice president of the city commission are concurrently president and vice president of the JDA, whatever the commission wishes. You guys can have that conversation then, but that will be the staff recommendation. Designate depositor, assignment of authorized agents will be proposed President Mo, myself, and Brina, just like it is with the city. And then appointment of the executive committee in the board of directors of Forward Devils Lake. And then we will have an agreement. Jack and I will work on an agreement with Forward in the interim to propose to you guys an agreement with Forward to serve as the executive committee, keeping the financial relationship as similar as it is right now between the two entities with the mill levy and the sales tax. And then the last one will be an agreement of assignment of all the loans payable and receivable, as well as any property that might be in Forward Devils Lake name in that when they were acting as our Jobs Development Authority. We want to get that transferred to Devils Lake Jobs Development Authority. And then basically assuming all the assets, liabilities, obligations of the Jobs Development Authority. So again, we'll just recommend approval of the resolution, and we'll welcome any questions that you guys may have.
Anybody have any questions or concerns? Did you get all that, Shane?
I heard all of you.
Okay.
When we establish this and somebody comes to Forward Devils Lake, will they be briefing us on who's coming? Or I mean, how in depth is this going to be?
Just like the city commission meeting, it'll be the same agenda. We'll just have the first part JDA, and then underneath it'll be city commission, and the same processes to get on the city commission agenda would occur at the end of JDA. I would just also add to North Dakota Century Code has like their 3-year terms for those positions. So we'll when we appoint officers, we'll kind of appoint the terms as staggered. Inherently, if you're on the Devils Lake City Commission, you will be on the Devils Lake Jobs Development Authority. However, just to maintain compliance with North Dakota Century Code, we'll work up a term recommendation for you guys.
Okay. No questions or concerns? What's the wishes of the commission?
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution establishing Job Development Authority for the city of Devils Lake, Ramsey County, North Dakota.
Commissioner Pierce?
I'll second.
Commissioner Hatch? Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Nothing under bid openings at 5:30. Anybody, visitors or delegations? Nothing. We'll go to commission portfolios, and I will start with Commissioner Pierce.
Chief, what do you got?
Did you want me to give an update on the Lake Region Dispatch stuff?
I'll
Or
do
is
that.
that-
I'll do that.
Okay.
See what you got.
As far as the fire department goes, we're working on some year-end stuff. And we're putting together that, following up with that equipment replacement plan, just making sure we got everything in there that we need. Yeah, we're just hoping for cold weather, get some ice. So,
And you guys will be escorting Santa on the 21st
yep,
and
Santa will be
22nd.
going around again. Eric, I believe, has got that on the radio going, so.
And then on Facebook too is the routes that you'll be taking, so everything's being looked at there. Anything else?
Other than that, no. Yep, we're good.
As you see in your packet here, there is now a Lake Region Dispatch 911 procedures. Put together sort of a committee where we sat down with all the fire departments, first responders for fire and EMT, and the county emergency manager, 911 or the 911 dispatch and STAR to try and come up with a standard procedure across the board for everybody. It seemed every different county wanted certain ways of being dispatched. There's too many variables and things could get missed with when this county wants it one way and this county wants it another way and Devil's Lake wants it this way and Ramsey wants it this way. So we came together with the county and the city and came up with one standard procedure for everything. So all calls will be dispatched the same way. We're going to speak with the commissioners from the other counties on Wednesday, and then they're going to be advised to get their emergency managers together and have a meeting, and so they can get with everybody and let them know. Since we're all under CAD now, they're just going to do it this way across the board, and the procedures are in front of you. Some wanted a siren, some wanted a phone call, some wanted it by radio. And it's just going to be by phone now because everybody's part of that CAD system. We're making sure that all of the listings for each county are correct. So the right people are being notified and called. So that's kind of where we're at with that, trying to streamline the process so it can be more efficient across the board and nobody gets left out or forgotten. So, because there was certain times where our fire department wasn't being notified. Ramsey, the rural fire wasn't being notified about certain things, and they all came together and agreed that this was good. That's the tribe, county, and city. So hopefully, and then they know, and we all know that there's going to be hiccups along the way with starting something new. But we'll be meeting every quarter to get everybody together and see if any updates need to be made or anything needs to be changed. So that's where we're at with that. The joint powers agreement and the lease for the building. You sent me an email. Where are we at with that? Did Rob find?
Yeah, so, and I talked to Star and they had the deeds at the law enforcement center already for those properties and we're already working on them.
Okay. You aware of that, Jack? Okay, yeah, the law enforcement center has the deeds because there was kind of confusion on who had them and where they were at. So we got,
Okay, so they have them,
they have,
so that's good. Have you received anything from the county yet?
I haven't seen anything. We've had that meeting Wednesday with the law enforcement center, so hopefully,
Okay, I just don't know if the county's taken any action on that, on the new, on executing those new deeds. But regardless, I think we're just gonna put it on the agenda for next meeting. We'll just, yeah,
just so everybody's communicating because we keep getting the same old, well, our attorney said we're waiting for this. Well, you're telling me we're waiting for this. And then the LEC is saying they're waiting for this. Well, for some reason, there's just not communication enough that we got to get this done. Everybody's sitting back assuming something's being done and you know what happens when you assume. So the goal was to have this done before the first of the year. And whatever attorney's not doing something, whatever have to do, it has to start getting done because we're starting, we went a whole year without this being accomplished and it's way overdue. So if you could be a little more, push them a little more if you need something
yeah,
from
we'll
them
just,
or whatever it is.
the only thing for us to do is vote to execute the deed, so we'll just put that on the next agenda. We're kind of just waiting to see if there's a green light from everyone. I think it looks fine on our
Because
end.
the county said they're done, ready to go. So I don't know if it's,
Okay, I just don't
Yeah.
know. I haven't received an update that they voted to, go ahead and execute the deeds or not, but we can do that. And then the only other thing along those lines, then it'll just be the JPA. And so, but that's, it's gonna be negotiation, so that's probably something we wanna all meet and discuss, on what we wanna do there in executive session at one of these upcoming meetings. We can walk through any changes we want, the reason for those changes, and any legal advice that entails. And then we're really set.
I'll brief them on that on Wednesday, the LEC meeting. And let's try to push that forward and get it done. Make sure everybody's in agreement and we can get this taken care of.
Okay.
Other than that, I was speaking with the mayor earlier. I'm gonna get together with, I'm gonna give Allison Smitten a call for next year for Christmas. Try and get a citywide Christmas celebration put together. Having a tree lighting, carolers, everything on one day. It seems to me the last few years, there's been everything spread across the city, but nothing where everybody can come together as a city. Have Santa in one place where the kids can all go to one place and see a Santa instead of have to travel 4 or 5 different places. And then try to get all the businesses involved, get the businesses together and really try to do this, put more lights up in the city and try to have a celebration. The mayor's behind it and Allison's been talking about it. So I'm going to get a hold of her and try to get something set up for next year. So, but other than that, Mayor, that's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Robbins?
Were you trying to?
I was just gonna say, we'll have them at a future city commission meeting to talk about what they want to do, and I think part of it is Bridgestone Park, right? They want to
Yeah.
utilize the city
That's
land for
what
that.
she's
So-
working on. Yeah.
So they asked if they did event permanent, I said, well, why don't you come to the commission at a future date and talk about the plans, and then you guys can give them permission to use the property. And
Yeah, because I had people during the 9th when they were having the stuff around that they just wished something was more centralized and brought everybody together a little more than what it is. So I think it was a great idea and I'd like to be a part of it. So,
Okay.
Thanks. That's great.
Mike, anything for streets?
Nothing for streets.
All right. Great job of melting everything off. It's been really nice. Engineering?
The sun works a lot better than de-icing.
That's all.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing for engineering tonight either, Commissioner, unless you have questions.
Outstanding.
Perfect.
That's all I got.
Okay. Mr. Hatch?
Mike, anything from sanitation?
No, we'll have a little conversation with sanitation when we're talking about equipment reserve, but I have nothing for you tonight, Commissioner, unless you have questions there as well.
Rob?
The only thing I'll have is just at the end of the year here, I'll be sending out applications for the homestead tax credit for 2024 again. We had 95 applications in 2022, and so far this year we've had 126, so we've seen a good increase. A lot of that has to do with the legislative changes that occurred during the year, but we're going to continue to push that. So,
How much did it go up so that they could qualify? What
so
was it?
the net income for the year went from 42,000 as the cap to 70,000. So if your net income is under 70,000 and you're over the age of 65 or you're permanently and totally disabled, you'd be eligible for the homestead tax credit.
Okay.
And then hopefully next meeting, I'll have more information on the primary residence property tax credit that's coming as well. That'll be a $500 property tax credit for anybody who has a primary residence within the state of North Dakota. That application will be online only and managed by the state, but we'll be looking to help people locally in getting those applications.
What will be the qualifications for that?
It's got to be a primary residence and it's got to be in the state of North Dakota.
That's it?
That's it. And so everybody's eligible for it that has that,
You have to apply or
but you have to apply. It's
So
going to be
we'll have to-
online.
make sure that public gets aware of that.
And it would have came out, there was a little flyer that came out with the property tax statements, that there was something that was in there. And the applications, I believe, are only being taken through March 31st. So you got to get those applications in the first quarter. So next meeting, hopefully I'll have more information. We're still waiting to get some more information from the state on how that's going to work. But I'm looking at probably trying to set something up where we have some time set aside so individuals can come in and we can walk them through that.
Is that going to be put on the
That'll be a big
city
push.
website? So
Yeah.
they'll have a link to come.
And
And
we'll
I've
need a
already-
lot of,
I've already got something on the assessing page on the city site linking to that and making some, putting some information out there specific.
is it a lengthy process or hopefully not?
I haven't seen the application yet,
Okay, all right,
so.
fair enough. Well, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Really. We'll just make sure we get everybody that we can so that they get whoever deserves it gets it. So.
Right.
Okay. Is that all you have, Rob?
That's it.
Commissioner Hamry?
Mr. Grassgard, what do you have this evening?
Just one thing for water, Commissioner. You'll be hearing some things in the news relative to the lead and copper rule. We'll have some meetings in-house with water and engineering related to trying to identify lead service lines within the city and how we're going to go about notifying residents and have our public works folks involved with identifying those lead service lines. So we'll be going through a process with that, identifying the plan that we have. And so if the commission hears anything on Facebook, I would assume that there'll be something in the media related to our lead and copper procedures and what we're going to propose as far as a plan to identify those lead service lines. Just want you to make you aware of that. We'll have some meetings, we'll put together a plan, and as that plan moves forward, I'll bring it forward to the commission, just to keep them updated. That's all I have for water, Commissioner, unless you have questions.
Nobody's got questions, that's all I have here.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner. Thanks for being here tonight.
Thank you.
Okay, my turn. Chief?
I've got nothing for the commission today. Unless you have
Okay.
questions.
Well, since we're talking police, we do, since the last meeting, we did lose an officer in the state of North Dakota. He
Yeah, we did.
tragically in an accident. So I guess what I'd like to do is on behalf of the city commission, send a letter of,
Condolences,
pardon?
condolences.
Condolences. Thank you.
I got you.
And on behalf of us to their family and their community for their loss.
Definitely, probably the family would appreciate it.
Were you able to have anybody go or?
Yeah, we had one member of our department go.
That's nice. Good.
Difficult time, but yeah.
Okay.
And I just wanted to also, Mayor, sorry to interrupt you, but I wanted to thank the PD along with the Sheriff's Department and the BIA. They came out, we had extra gifts this year from our toy giveaway. And we asked if these departments would like the extra gifts to give out on their routes and such. And they're right there. And they went out in the community and handed the gifts out to the kids. So I just wanted to thank them for that. And that was an amazing.
Well, in turn, I mean, it made us good, made us look good on Facebook and whatnot.
You need all you can do to look good.
But we appreciate it.
No, it was, when I was first asked, I was like, man, they're kind of busy, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
But no, they were right there and it was great to see them want to do that. So I just wanted to thank them for that.
Thank you.
Need all that good publicity you can get, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's all you have, Chief?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Spencer?
Nothing to add other than what we have on the agenda. Thank you to the city commission and city employees for a good 2023 so far, and here's 2024.
Thank you. Jack?
We already discussed the LEC stuff, and that's just been kind of a process. But we're getting there. Same with,
They're not pulling cars yet.
we're halfway done on the nuisances. It's like, we have another meeting scheduled here. I don't know if you got it set up yet, Nate, or not, but either this week or next week. So we have kind of half of it done. And then it's kind of the
Is he being defiant or is he working with you or?
So the further we dig into stuff, the deeper the rabbit hole goes as far as legal stuff and dealing with the stuff. So we're trying to make sure that we're not opening up the city for any liability. So
So once we remove the cars, they've got to be put somewhere. And then where they're put, then there's two different avenues that will have to go based on where they're put. And so that's what we're ironing out right now.
Yes, there's stuff that's it could cure cost-wise to the city, storage. If it's not done right, we could be sued for taking personal property. So there's a lot of things behind it right now that they're researching, Mayor, just to make
Okay.
sure.
All right.
So I mean, it's not that
Yeah.
something
Right.
I
But
think
we do
should
have a
have,
meeting set up with
Okay.
Cowboy to get,
should have been looked at
Get moving
before
on.
this,
So-
but
Yeah,
you know,
well,
you know what I mean? It's
we're,
just,
we're getting there. We'll
Yeah.
just, okay.
Yeah,
Alright.
we're going, but it's not,
You're at a snail's
it's
pace.
not simple to say the least, but I think we're making good headway.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, anything else under portfolios? If not, we'll move on. Nothing under old business. Nothing under the consent agenda. Under new business, we have number one item, first reading of ordinance 993, the franchise agreement renewal with Montana Dakota Utilities. And Mike, I guess you're the man for this one.
Okay, within your packet is the proposed franchise. The franchise is simply a renewal of the existing franchise that we have. I think we have to have it renewed in January or it would be expiring. The franchise agreement is with Montana Dakota Utilities Company. If you look at the proposed franchise, the changes to the existing franchise are in various colors. You'll see some items that are struck through and some changes like in blue, red, and purple, if the commission is aware of that, sees that. Some of the language is cleanup language, and I'll draw your attention to paragraph C in section 1338.060. That was a section that we had added to the existing franchise agreement. Basically, we just want to work with the utility companies when they're doing work within the public right-of-way. And they're either going to relocate or add facilities within the right-of-way. They work with the city to make sure that the route that they're taking is the best route possible. We may know of a project that they're not aware of. We may be planning a storm sewer project, a water main replacement or something. And if we work with them, maybe we can identify a location that is going to be least intrusive and won't be impacted by a future city project. And so that was the intent of that paragraph. The other language is fairly self-explanatory related to providing time for completing work and things like that for any relocations. Any questions related to the franchise agreement or the changes that have been proposed? I talked to Scott Volk, he's the area manager with MDU. He would like to have been here tonight, but there was an incident, according to his email to me. I don't know what the incident is, but he got sidetracked onto other work items and he wasn't able to attend.
Can he be here next meeting is when we got to finalize it, or?
I would hope so. Like
Yeah.
I'd mentioned, he had planned on being here tonight just in case there was any questions relative to the franchise agreement, but he got pulled away at the last minute.
We don't have to take any action on this anyhow, so, right? Yeah.
I'd just say it was, the last one was approved in 2009. It's a 15-year agreement. That's why it's before you. It's just the time renewal.
Okay. Anybody have any questions about it? Not? Okay, thanks, Mike. We'll move on to the next item. Number two, that's the equipment replacement plan. Spencer.
Mayor Mo, members of the commission, I'll try and be brief, and please feel free just to interrupt in the middle while I'm going through these kind of department by department. If you have questions or comments, and primarily wanted to get all the departments aligned as far as the equipment that they have, its current age, when we're looking that we might need to replace those, so we can start making sure we do the legwork this year and the years beyond to make the equipment purchases that we feel we need to do the job. Before we did this, we did a little exercise with all the departments, asked them point blank, do you feel like you have the tools to do your guys' job well? Everybody says, yes, we do. We have the tools to get the job done. And after we put this together, kind of looked at them, given what you know now, do you feel that this plan is something that would allow you guys to do your jobs as well as you feel you need to do them moving forward in the decade ahead? So some have years out to 2030, some out to 2036, depending on how much equipment, the size, and scope of the expenses. And hopefully moving forward, when we make equipment purchases or we budget for equipment, we can say in reference to our equipment replacement schedule, it's consistent with the plan or we need to amend the plan. Much like kind of our capital improvement plan that we bring to you guys every year. So I'll try to go quick, but there are a couple significant changes that we want to give you a history and background on. So first, IT, we're going to create an IT equipment replacement so that when it's time to replace servers every 6 years, we don't have to remember from 6 years from now we're throwing away money every year. So that purchase is planned. Thank you to Rob for all of your work on that. But basically, it's a $15,000 line item, every year, and then 10,000 to 10,000 to 20,000 a year transferred into that equipment reserve. Again, before we get further on, this is a plan. Plans are to be amended. This is not set in stone, more of a framework. You know, and my old boss liked to quote the line that everybody's got a plan until you get hit in the face, right? So the Mike Tyson line. So that it's in that spirit that this plan is ahead of you. Fire department, SCBA's is a big expense, $320,000 we're estimating in 2027, with the idea that we would split that with the volunteers at 50% cost share. So in 2027, we're looking at about $160,000 expense for that. And with our previous transfer into Fire's Equipment Reserve, as well as interest earnings, we are on pace to meet that equipment purchase. And then also PPE. Chief, you said you guys have about 30 pieces of PPE out there at the fire department, and trying to get on a cycle of buying 2 or 3 of those every year in a 50-50 split with the volunteers. And then just a couple nozzles from there on. Fire department, police department, we've got roughly about 2 vehicles a year, one of them being a full squad car at estimated $60,000, and then a used vehicle for some of the more lightly used vehicles, correct, Chief? The SRO vehicles and some of the detective vehicles.
Detective vehicles, not necessarily SRO. We're talking community service person.
Gotcha. So those we usually buy used, and so trying to get on a pace of 2 a year, as well as, you know, once every 10 years, body cameras, tasers, and duty weapons. If we throw just shy of $10,000 a year away, we should be able to make those purchases pretty.
What's the life expectancy of a duty weapon? What do they have?
6 to 10.
They do have that, huh? They make you replace them? Is there a value
There's
on
not
them?
a make. There's not a necessity to replace. But after, they don't really shoot those a lot more than the average person. And then there's an expectation that, though we do have a local armorer that we have, the person that's on duty with us, and they fix them and repair them every year. There is a wear and tear within the item itself. So you don't want it, you just don't want that to go bad.
Yeah. Probably not.
You probably don't. So, yeah.
Okay. Just curious, I'm sorry.
We just replace them too.
Yeah.
Do those body cameras actually last 10 years?
No, they don't. But there's when they fall on warranty, what we normally do is it isn't so much the body camera, it's the body camera type. So although we'll be replacing one because of the warranty, they'll completely replace the body camera that we're currently using with another type of either brand new one or a refurbished one. But what we do is what we're looking at is when new technology comes out in that period of time and they no longer will warranty them, then we'll replace them. That's what we do at our office.
Okay, I was gonna say, because I bet you they got getting more banging around and more damage to them than
Fly
anything.
all over the place.
So it's
It's pretty terrible. So, yeah.
Last,
Sorry, one more question. Do you have any in reserve stored in case something
Oh,
does
yeah.
go bad with one?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That's what I figured.
They're a lot better now than what we started with, I'll tell you that.
Scorpions.
Scorpions.
and then mobile data computers, so the tech inside the squad car. This year we were expecting, it came in $4,000 over our expected, so there's a budget amendment. There's a budget amendment item after this of where, if you guys are confident in this plan, just a couple of budget amendments for 2024 to put this into action. If no further questions on police, we'll move on to streets. Big thing with streets is
You don't want to see us to see it, right?
yeah, well, I tried,
Way to go, Mike.
There's a lot of equipment there.
I know.
a lot of equipment. And so
Right.
right now, there's a couple of significant pieces of equipment that we do lease at 2 2021 John Deere payloaders and a 2021 John Deere payloader and then a John Deere motor grader. We're eyeing a lease to buy situation where you lease for 5 years and then you can purchase at the end of the lease. And assuming that we're doing that, making the lease payments, and then down the road with the 1997 Caterpillar and 2001 Caterpillar, we would look to get in the lease to own with something newer as well. And when we aren't making lease payments, to throw the difference in what we would normally be paying for leases into the equipment reserve for that. Water department. I think it speaks for itself, and would take any questions there. With water and waste, or sewer and wastewater. So historically, sewer and wastewater equipment reserves have been separate. We are going to propose and have a subsequent budget amendment after this to combine the sewer and wastewater equipment reserves. Mike and I have had extensive conversations on that, and I asked him if he can give you guys the Reader's Digest as just the history of two, is why they were separated and why we believe that it's okay to combine them.
He said no, it would take 2 hours.
No, he's going to be quick with it. And primarily, we want to do this is we're not changing things just to change things. We're trying to do, this is why we were doing this in the past. And to change, we understand that, and we hope that this will be better, right? We're not just doing it to do it. So, Mike, if you want to just give a quick update on that.
It appears in 2002, there was a wastewater equipment reserve that was started. Wastewater really, based on the anything that was funded out of that account was through LEMNA. So our wastewater treatment is still part of sewer, right? So we have sewer collection, sewer involved with stormwater, as well as the treatment of our wastewater, our sanitary sewer. And so realistically, the expenditures are coming out of the sewer fund. The sewer fund is funded through our rates and fees with sewer, right? So it seems to make sense. We're going to track it separate, right? In your budget books, it's going to be tracked separately. But as far as the actual fund itself, it seems to make sense that we combine those reserve accounts into one sewer fund.
Last thing with water and sewer, there's a small jetter that we had planned to purchase this year. And we'll, again, in the next item, request a budget amendment as the cost estimate came in significantly higher than what we were expecting. The plan before you incorporates as if we did purchase it at that more increased cost, and that the equipment reserve balance and contributions still do work out.
And the lemon harvesters, are they all up to speed, or we're good for them for a while, or?
Joel and the folks out there have done a lot of work on the lemna harvesters. We replaced significant portions of them. And so we've been very, very fortunate there. We still have some more work to do on those harvesters.
Okay.
We're having a lot of discussions relative to the baffles within lemna itself. You know, they're a maintenance challenge,
Mhm.
right? A lot of the ties, I mean, it's 30 years old, so there's work there that we have to do. We've had conversations about that, but as far as the harvesters, we've been pretty fortunate.
I don't see them listed here as ticketed items for replacement down the road, or?
We just rebuilt everything with stainless steel.
Okay.
And so there's another section that we're working to get completed, but for large ticket items, we don't anticipate to replace them. If we were to buy them new, it would break our bank right now. So we're trying to keep what we have and the amount of lemna that we've been harvesting, the equipment we have. It seems very functional.
What do you think? They're about $1 million?
Yeah, that's what they were. They
Yeah.
were over. Last time I heard a number from Joel.
Wow. Yeah, that's why I was curious why they're not on here. Okay, thanks.
It's because it's all stainless steel. We went with stainless steel and made them fairly robust. So all the improvements that we've been doing, we're hoping that we'll keep them going. And as the city administrator had mentioned, it is a framework. If something changes, right, if all of a sudden one of those harvesters that is outside our control, something happens, we'll have to make adjustments accordingly. But right now, it seems like we're going to be okay.
Any other questions on water and sewer? We'll move on to embankment. Right now, currently, we do not have an embankment equipment reserve. We do want to establish an embankment equipment reserve. Currently, there is a reserve for the Eagle Bend lift station. And there is a recommendation that we take what's in the Eagle Bend lift station reserve and send half of it to our flood protection projects that we need to pay down, and the other half, use the other half to create an embankment equipment reserve so we can track those separately. Again, I'm going to ask Mike to give the Reader's Digest version of the Eagle Bend lift station. It has a reserve, however, it's out of commission. And looking at what to do with those dollars in the most consistent way possible with the purpose that money was set aside for.
Eagle Bend, that's that one that's over more closer to the Flyers, right?
Correct.
South of the one going into the lake, right?
Correct. So
Okay.
there was a lift station right at
Is
the
that
Eagle Bend
out
corner.
of service now?
When we revamped, so years ago when the West Loop was created, the West Loop, the alignment for the dike was shifted in 1997, 1998 timeframe. It was tying in south of Walleye Drive right into Friesen Addition. And there was a request made to the city to adjust that alignment and continue it out along Creel Bay to the golf course and ultimately tie into Lakewood, protect a lot more property. Much of that property is outside city limits. With that modification, there was another lift station that was required, and that was the Eagle Bend lift station.
Right.
It was a very large lift station right on the corner of Eagle Bend. You see the big ditch going to the north towards the dike. It was right on the end of that ditch. When we looked at some of the modeling and the hydrology with the expansion of the dike that occurred 2009, 2010, 2011 timeframe, we were able to, rather than revamping and reconstructing that particular lift station, we put a pipe in the ground, a large storm sewer pipe, that bring the flows from Eagle Bend over to the Creel Bay lift station, which we knew we had to reconstruct. And so with that modeling, we were able to eliminate the Eagle Bend lift station, not have to replace those pumps, not have to rebuild that lift station, put a pipe in the ground and use the infrastructure that we were going to build anyway, Creel Bay. And so the concept here is the reserve account that was meant to replace the pumps in Eagle Bend and replace the infrastructure for that pump station. We can use that for the operation maintenance, buying the equipment that we need to maintain the dike, and then use some of the proceeds to help fund the local share of the embankment raise.
And that's it's at about, I want to say it was 358,000, so splitting that 50-50 between the two. No further questions, then on to sanitation. We've had and understand past conversations as to what they call the one-arm bandit, right? And if that's right for our sanitation department. Currently, the plan before you is operating under the assumption that the status quo is going to stay the same, and that we are going to purchase a new sanitation truck. In the interim, before we purchase this truck in 2024, we bring that to you and bid it out and whatnot. Mike and sanitation department is going to do their best analysis that they can to find a path forward as to whether or not whether or not we want to bring a recommendation to you to shift and transition to a one-arm bandit with an automation. It would be a significant overhaul of how we do sanitation in the city. Other communities have switched to it. They've said they've had good reviews. There's costs associated with it. So if Mike, you want to just give a high level as to what you guys are looking at in the next couple months with sanitation. But like I said, as of now, this reflects as if the status quo is changing. The status quo is maintaining the same. Sorry.
So as Spencer had mentioned, there is, within the budget, it's simply replacing an existing rear load garbage truck. In the past, there's been an analysis or two completed of whether or not an automated sanitation equipment, automated truck makes sense to us or not. And in the past, it didn't seem to work for us at the time. More and more communities are going to it. One of the reasons why more and more communities are going to it is just simply finding help, finding people that are willing to work that route. I just visited with a public works gentleman from Valley City. They went to an automated system this summer, and he has nothing but praise for it. He said they were hesitant as well. They visited with their neighbor Jamestown, who had gone to it. And so one of the big reasons why they were looking at it was the ability to find help and keep that consistency. They're very happy that they did go to it. Want to make sure that we're working with Corey. Corey's been in that department for a long, long time. So he knows that department very well. We want to make sure that when we're looking at, if we're going to change, what impact could that have to the city recycling program? Because if you go with one single can, it's all likelihood that single can would at least be maybe a 65-gallon can or a 96-gallon can. You do an analysis to see which can you would go with. Valley City went with a 65-gallon can. Well, that's two 32-gallon cans that we typically have, right? So there may be some additional volume there. And with that additional volume, will people be more likely to throw things away rather than recycle? So we're looking at how much recycling we have. I don't think our total volume between recycling and municipal solid waste is going to change, but there might be a shift in how much recycling and more of it may make it into the municipal solid waste, and we'll be paying tipping fees for that. We'll be paying for those transfer fees to get from our transfer station, the fuel to get it along with those tipping fees. So we'll do an analysis there, see what seems to make sense, put everything together, and then a decision and recommendation will come forward to the city commission once we have that complete. But it'd be premature for us to simply go buy another rear load garbage truck, have that brand new, because then the equipment reserve budget will be expended. And then we won't be looking at an automated truck for some period of time in the future until the equipment reserve could handle that.
If it did end up going to something to that, would everybody have to have the new garbage cans, right? So would that come up from the city, give it to the home, or will the homeowner have to purchase the can?
It would be, typically that would be an expense of going to that system, so the city would provide that can.
Okay.
As part of that transition.
I was gonna say,
That would all be street pickup then, right?
In Valley City, they still do the vast majority in the alleys.
So
But
that
he
might
did
be
tell-
a hiccup with a lot of people, I would think. But
So in Valley City, they were able to keep 75 to 80% of the pickup within the alley.
are there
Some alleys where there
wider?
was a lot of backing and things like that, they transitioned to the street, but for the most part, they're able to stay in the
So
alley.
they can, well, that'd be good if you could do that.
They have a two-arm system and they have cameras. So one driver, he can pick up on the left side and the right side based on the cameras with one truck. So many are going to the two-arm system with use of cameras.
Okay.
I think at the end of the, it would be a complete overhaul, and it would impact every citizen in town that owns property here. And so, but very likely it could very much increase the efficiency of how the city conducts its business, right? So before we purchase this new garbage truck, we want to make sure we do the analysis and we come with a recommendation before we make that purchase. And so, like I said, what's reflected is that the status quo stays the same, but if we do come with an overhaul, that plan will definitely change. Best information we have at the time to present to you.
I think it's coming to that, probably.
It's nice to hear you can get it in the alleys, though. That's kind of, that will be
I know.
a big plus.
One community I visit, they also have a can for recycling. So they just pick it up at a different time.
And I think, Mike, we were talking in your office earlier, and the folks in Valley City you talked with said that one of the biggest undertakings of that was just the public information campaign.
Mhm.
So more to come on that, and there'll be in meetings after Christmas to chart path forward as to how we go about that. That is all I have. And the first page I have what's current projected equipment reserves as far as the start of 2023 and the end of 2023. Only thing I'll add to that is that the water revenues seem to be coming in pretty healthy.
Mhm.
It looks like we'll be over budget on the revenue side. Assuming that stays the same and the expense side is what it is reflected. We bought the van that was originally budgeted in 2021. We bought that this year. We'd recommend that we pay with the operations account with that, as well as an extra $25,000 transfer to the water equipment reserve above what we were projecting this year. Again, once budget numbers are finalized and the final budget amendments come to you, we can have that more detailed conversation then. But just showing you what is reflected on the first page. Would welcome any other questions. Thank you to the department heads for doing this, and really hoping that this gives us a foundation of which to bring recommendations to the commission from. Is this consistent with the plan? Do we need to adjust the plan? Those sorts of things. So
No action necessary on this already.
we would like you to approve the equipment replacement plan if you guys would be inclined to do so.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, Commissioner Hatch and Commissioner Robbins.
Outstanding.
Okay, any further discussion? None being, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carries. Moving on, we are number 4, adjustment to rates and fees for truck snow haulers.
I
Mike.
think we got one.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Number 3.
Oh, budget amendment, excuse me, I apologize. Back up here to item number 3, budget amendment 2401, equipment replacement update. Spencer.
So just the plan that we just talked about, a couple edits here for the 2024 budget. The in-car computer equipment for PD, proposing line item 76,000 from the equipment reserve, and instead 80,000. The jetter, again, the estimate was off, and so need to change the amount. The estimate came in at about 300. So the change there, an extra transfer from the general fund to the newly created IT replacement equipment reserve in the amount of $10,000. And then a budget amendment to combine the sewer and wastewater equipment reserves. Sewers projected balance $220,000, wastewater's projected balance $361 for a total of $581. Again, projected at the end of 2023. And then eliminate and split the Eagle Bend lift station, $358,000, 50% to the embankment equipment reserve, and then $50,000 to pay off the flood protection project.
I'll make a motion to approve budget amendment 2401.
Commissioner Pierce moves to approve.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Robbins. Any further discussion?
How was the flood protection payoff looking?
So right now, it's a little over $4 million. And we're expecting about $600,000 from the Corps in the escrow account. Once that's closed out, we'll receive about $600,000. Is that estimate still about right?
That's the latest estimate I have.
$600,000. And then we have this 180,000 that we're going to transfer. And then we deferred doing the yearly $300,000 transfer to that fund this year because we're anticipating receiving the 600 from the Corps.
So we'll owe about 3.2 then.
We'll be paying that for a while.
Okay. Till we have a new city engineer.
I don't know, unless something happens between now and
Oh. Uh-huh.
So what
Okay.
you're saying is there's a
So any
chance.
further discussion? If not, roll call.
then. Commissioner Pierce,
Aye.
Commissioner Hamry,
Commissioner Hammery?
Aye.
Commissioner Hash,
Aye.
Commissioner Robbins.
Aye.
President Mo.
Aye. Motion carries. Now item number 4, adjustment to rates and fees, truck snow haulers. Mike.
Included in your packet is a memo that discusses the local truck drivers and truck haulers that we have. Seems like it's harder and harder to get trucks to haul snow for the city. It seems so the few that we have tend to continue to use older equipment to haul snow for us, and then it's profitable for them. With that, most of those trucks do not have end gates, but we did have a request from one of the snow haulers that has 2 trucks. He's looking at putting end gates on, and he requested that a review be completed on the extra amount that the city would pay for having an end gate. So we did an analysis, and the idea is if you have an end gate, we can fill the truck all the way up. If you don't have an end gate, then there's an angle of the snow that we have to put in there so it doesn't all fall out the back. And so once we did that analysis, it seems like it's a conservative justification to go to $12.50 for trucks with an end gate. So that would be additional payment in addition to their volume that they hold. That is different than the $5 an hour that we're paying right now. So the recommendation of the commission is to adjust the rates and fees to pay $12.50 for snow haulers with an end gate. That would be an additional cost per hour. Don't expect that it's going to have a significant impact on any budget, but for the snow haulers that want to put effort in to have that end gate and have it operable, it means something to them on an hourly basis.
Okay.
I'll make a motion, Mayor.
Commissioner Hamry, okay. Motion, second? Second, Commissioner Hatch. Any discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Pierce?
Aye.
Commissioner Hamry?
Aye.
Commissioner Hash?
Aye.
Commissioner Robbins?
Aye.
President Mo?
Aye, motion carries. Item number 5, adjustment to the part-time salaries of the volunteer fire department. Chief?
Yep, so one of the things that we've been doing in the fire department is kind of looking and analyzing what we got going on, and with the low number of volunteerism going on, one of the things that we felt might help retain some of our volunteers is upping the salaries from $9 an hour that it's been for probably 15 years to match the part-time salaries of the city employees. And in your package, you guys can see that it's laid out with our tiered system. So if they're a lieutenant or a captain, they'll get paid just a little bit more than the regular firefighters, and it's based on years of service. So to hopefully help with retention.
I would just add this was in the 2024 budget. The line item was increased and just waited till later in the year to recommend the part-time salary change.
Mr. Youngster, can I ask a question on that?
Sure.
So I was reading through there, some of it says part-time and some of it says volunteer. What language is going to be used?
My understanding of the proposal is that volunteers are on a part-time basis and there's certain activities that they can engage in and be reimbursed for. And those certain activities are part-time activities. And so within that, that's what they're being paid for. So I read it as one and the same. And I believe that's the intent that it was written by the chief.
Because I think under FLMA, volunteer and part-time are two different entities. So I just want to make sure the wording's right so that the volunteers or part-time, how they're going to be classified in the city, and we don't end up in an area where somewhere down the road it comes back and somebody says this happened, and then, you know, there's possibly litigation over this.
Yeah.
So I just want to make sure that wording's correct so that Chief Bennett, the mayor, Spencer, and yourself don't run into a situation.
Yep. I also, I haven't done a full-blown review of the laws around paying volunteer firefighters, but in a cursory review that I have conducted, it's acceptable at common practice. Additionally, I am reassured that, we are audited. And this has never been anything that's been flagged in an audit. And I suspect that if there were an issue at all, it would probably be flagged in the audits that are regularly conducted. And so I don't have any concerns.
Okay, well, if you don't have any concerns, I'm good here.
Okay, any other questions? If not, what's the wishes?
Make a motion to approve.
Commissioner Hatch,
Second.
Commissioner Pierce. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Pierce?
Aye.
Commissioner Hamry?
Aye.
Commissioner Hash?
Aye.
Commissioner Robbins?
Aye.
President Mo?
Aye, motion carries. Item number 6, a resolution declaring the necessity of an improvement for street improvement district number 79-24, 17th Street Southeast, 16th Street Southeast, 8th Avenue Southeast, 10th Avenue Southeast. Mike.
That resolution is required for a street improvement project since it's not a health and safety issue like a water main replacement or a sewer project could be reviewed. So this resolution will be published, and then we will be sending out notices for probable assessments. Everyone in that district that's going to receive a potential assessment will have the right to protest. We'll have the advertisements, and that'll go through. We'll discuss the resolution of necessity, the first meeting in February. It's a
And
30-day.
this is the same
advertisement.
project from last meeting.
Correct. The paving of the gravel roads.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution declaring the necessity for improvement for street improvement district number 79-24.
Commissioner Pierce, is there a second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Robbins. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Anyone here for citizen comment? Nothing? Informational item you have in your packet, November's 2023 financial report. And I need a motion to approve the payment of the list of bills as submitted.
Make a motion to pay the bills as submitted.
Commissioner Pierce,
Second.
Commissioner Robbins. Any discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Pierce.
Aye.
Commissioner Hamry.
Aye.
Commissioner Hash.
Aye.
Commissioner Robbins.
Aye.
President Monk.
Aye, motion carries. And since Scott was able to make it in, you got a minute? Do you want to say anything? Everything seemed to be okay with the agreement, so unless you have something to add to it.
Oh, just wanted, if anybody had any questions as far as the franchise agreement, I worked with Mike quite a bit on it. Obviously, we changed a lot of language in there to match all of our other agreements. City also added what I thought was very good.
Yeah, you might want to come to the podium, so
Sorry.
people are listening outside, so
No,
you're on camera, you're on candid camera.
No, that's all right. No, I worked with Mike quite a bit on this franchise agreement. We did a lot of language changes.
Sure.
Obviously to protect the city and protect MDU. Mike proposed proposed routes, which I thought was fantastic. So just wanted to show up. Sorry I'm late, Mayor and the commission. My intention was to be here. Obviously, we had an incident, so.
No,
So I'm here for, if anybody has any questions as far as the franchise.
believe so, so I think next meeting, that'll be up for,
Yeah, as long as we're working on it.
Yep.
The franchise carries itself on, so.
sure.
Just an FYI, when I was a former Midco employee, Mike did the same with us, contact him before you put any fiber in the ground or anything like that. And he's pretty reasonable to work with. But if you forget to call him and you're doing a project, he'll call you and let you know you forgot to call him.
No, I thought it was a great proposal by Mike.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, I just want to make sure I showed up. If anybody had any questions for me.
I think we're good.
Good.
We're good. So thanks for showing up, Scott. Okay, without any other business coming before the commission, meeting adjourned.
So the second reading,
Did we
we
take care of the
adopted it
bills?
at the next